There we go. My name is Ron Proseis. I am an adjunct professor here with the school, and I have also recently become the president of the Cornerstone Bible College and Seminary in the United States, in California, where I've been a professor and board member. So that is a new chapter for me, and I appreciate you praying for me as I will pray for you in that. I just returned from India to do a pastor's conference, and tomorrow, in fact, I will be leaving for Ethiopia to teach two conferences there in the capital and in another city, and so very excited about that. My background is as a pastor, so that's my heart as a pastor. I've been in pastoral ministry for over 30 years, and recently I moved to be with my daughter, who started having children. So that is quite something when your babies start having babies. And we thought it was very important to be together. And so I have come here and just said, okay, Lord, what now? What next? And He's giving me the opportunity to teach and to do pastors' conferences and to write. I've been writing books, and I'm thankful for that opportunity. And then also, as I mentioned, to assume this new position as seminary president. So continue to see what the Lord will do. But I'm very excited about this class and what God will do. Very excited for you as students, and look forward to that. And on the team's upload, I uploaded the syllabus, so I think it would be very good to go through that. If you can access that, please do so, and we can walk through it so I can explain what we will be going through as a class. So I'm going to refer to that right now. So the course purpose, as you'll see on the syllabus, is to explore the relationship between theology and ministry. So theology is foundational. Theology, you have to have foundation, just like a house. You've got to have a foundation. In fact, Jesus uses that metaphor in Matthew 7. So to use that similar metaphor, theology is very important to understand who God is, to understand what He has revealed in His Word about Himself, about life, about sin, about salvation, about ministry, everything that His Word contains, His sufficient Word. His Word is completely sufficient, He says. And so theology is like that foundation of a house. But that would make for a very difficult living situation for your family if all you had was a foundation, right? If you just had the foundation and you didn't have a house. So the ministry part of this course is building on that foundation. So you already have some type of foundation in your understanding of theology and your understanding of Scripture, and that's wonderful, and you keep growing in that, keep strengthening that foundation. What this class will help you do is to take that foundation and then build on it in terms of ministry. It's like, okay, we understand this about God, about ourselves, about what His Word says. How does that work its way out into ministry? So we are going to explore that together. Now, I understand, because of my own seminary studies, the importance of study, but I also realize that, you know what, I want to be very focused. And so because of that, I'm not going to give you a lot of work. I've tried to really hone this down to what's important. And because of this, the work isn't going to be overwhelming like some of my seminary classes were, very overwhelming. I remember one in particular where I would just spend many hours every day just trying to keep up with the work. This is going to be different. This is going to be very, very focused, very impactful. So basically, there are 4 assignments. The first assignment is the lecture interaction. So this is for every class day, there are going to be typically 3 lectures. They'll be broken down. We'll have a lecture, then a break, then a lecture, then a break, then our final lecture, and that will be the end of the day. And so for every day, you will write a paper, and it only has to be 1/2 page to a page in length. You can write more if you like, but only a half to 1 page in length. And you will explain a new insight or encouragement that you received from that day's lectures. Now, it doesn't have to be every lecture that you're commenting on. I just want in particular, it could be, but in particular, I want one lecture that was very impactful for you, that just maybe gave you a fresh understanding, a new insight. Maybe it was an encouragement that God wanted you to receive. And so every day you will receive that, and you will have 1 week to write that. Now, I would encourage you to do that right away while it's fresh on your mind. And again, it's not a major task, but it does comprise a significant portion of your grade. 40% of your grade will be on these interactions. And the reason for this is, there's many assignments that I could have given, but I thought this is going to be a great way to reinforce what God is teaching you. And that's our hope, right? Is that the Lord will speak through his word as he has promised, and you receive that, you interact with that, and thus the paper. So that's the first requirement. The second requirement is I will send you a copy of a book. In fact, I'm going to be with the author in Africa, in Ethiopia, this coming week. And he wrote an excellent book called The Biblically Driven Church. And so he has graciously allowed me to give each of you as a student a free copy of his book. And I want you to read that and write a 2-page paper reflecting on a particularly impactful insight, encouragement, direction, teaching from the book, and how that affects the perspective and implementation of your ministry. So that is the second assignment. The third assignment is another book, and that is available also free to you. It's online. It's by Pastor John Piper, called Brothers, We Are Not Professionals. And there is much seasoned advice and wisdom in this book. And again, you will write a 2-page paper reflecting on a particularly impactful insight or encouragement and how that affects your perspective and implementation of ministry. And then the fourth assignment for the class is a personal assessment. And you will write a 3-page paper assessing your own personal strengths, and that will be 1 page, and your personal weaknesses, and that will be a 2nd page, and how both your strengths and your weaknesses affect your ministry. And then a plan, which will be the 3rd page, a plan for growing in an area that you've identified as a weakness, and we all have them. But by God's grace, we can grow and we can become strong, and we can see Christ working in us. And so that will be due the last day of class. So you will have all semester for that. So I want to give you I want to reiterate what you see in your syllabus regarding the policy on late assignments. So my seminary president, when I did my doctoral studies, he used to say there are no Monday sermons. And what he meant by that is if you are assigned to preach on a Sunday, that is your responsibility. And you have not disciplined your time. It's been, life is busy for all of us, and there's many responsibilities and challenges and interruptions. And if you have not disciplined yourself to complete that sermon, you cannot come to worship on Sunday and tell your people that you're not ready and just, could you please come back on Monday? That's not going to work. That's not faithful ministry. And your ministry will have the same challenges as your life right now. In fact, if you're going into full ministry, you will discover that there will be even more challenges. And even if you are in part-time ministry, which is a wonderful opportunity for ministry, still there will be many challenges, and you need to prioritize your time. You need to realize that you will face unexpected occurrences. You have to be diligent to ensure faithfulness in ministry. So this is just a policy to help you with the mindset that I can't delay. In my last class, I had almost 30 students. So this is going to be a very different class. I had almost 30 students in my class last semester. And it was really interesting to me that many did not receive the grade they could have simply because they waited to work on their assignment. So I read a comment once by someone who has the distinction of having the highest IQ in the world. So this person, it was actually a woman. This person was asked, why is it that so many people wait until the last minute to do their work? And I'll never forget her response. She said, it's because it's never too late to do a bad job. So I don't want that to be a distinctive of your ministry. I want you to be faithful as God's word calls each of us to be diligent, and to make that effort by his grace, to rely on him. It's what Paul said, remember in Colossians 1:29, where this isn't self-effort. This isn't just, okay, I'm going to do my best. Paul explained it really well in many places. I love how he puts it in Colossians 1:29. He says, to this end I labor, striving with all of his energy, with all of his power, which mightily works in me. And so that is Christian life, and that is ministry. It's where we are not sufficient for ourselves, as Paul says elsewhere in 2 Corinthians. But he has made us competent as ministers of the new covenant. So we walk by faith, and faith means relying on him for all that we need. And so again, this is just part of faithfulness. So let me stop there and ask if there are any questions that you might have, and I also want to say on that note of questions that anytime you have a question, please text me. Our primary method of communication, we will set up a WhatsApp group text, and that will be the way that you will submit all your assignments, that you will ask your questions, we'll have interactions. I just have found as a professor that is the best way to keep, instead of, oh, did they send an email? Did they send a note here? No, let's just work through WhatsApp. And I also want you to know that isn't just for this class. I want you to know that I'm committed to you as a professor, as your professor, that even beyond class, if there's something you're working on, a situation, maybe you're working on a teaching and say, I'm not understanding this, or do you have a commentary resource that you could share with me or give me your insights? I'm available for that. Now, this is my second year of teaching with the Nairobi Evangelical Graduate School of Theology. And I don't know if you realize that the school has some challenges. One of those challenges, every school has challenges, but one of the challenges that our school has is financial challenges. And so 2 years ago, I said, listen, you don't need to pay me as a professor. So I have not received any payment for my 2 years of teaching. I just do this because I am so excited about you and your ministry, and I want to invest in that. And so it's an investment that will that I pray that God will use mightily for His kingdom. So that is my commitment to you. And as I mentioned, are there any questions that you have about the class, about the requirements, about the syllabus? Oh, one of the things that I should mention, I'm seeing this on my screen in the background. One of my other ministries that you may have noticed from the background with my books is, along with being a full-time pastor in our country, we have a division of our military called the reserves. And so that is where you are not serving full-time in the military. Rather, you are serving part-time. Typically, it's 2 days a month, and then extra time during the year. And so I thought this would be a wonderful way for me as a pastor to reach out to my community. And there are different ways to do that, and God calls different people to do those different things. But for me, this was a wonderful way to bring the gospel to my community. And what I did not realize is that God would use that around the world. And I've had the opportunity to go to, I think I'm up to maybe over 58 countries around the world, and many of those places I would have never seen had it not been for the opportunity to be a chaplain. I was a chaplain in the Navy and in the Air Force. I actually started out before that in the Army, and so I've been in every branch, and just wonderful. Let me just share one way that God worked in that ministry. So at the beginning of the Iraq War, I was called to minister in Iraq. I was sent to Baghdad, the capital, and we were actually working in the presidential palace. And I've got many amazing stories from that time of how God worked that I could tell you, but I'll just tell you one, is that the throne room. Yes?
Professor?
Yes?
There's someone, Boris is trying to enter, but he's saying that you're not able to let him in.
I just clicked him in. I just clicked him in.
Oh,
Thank you.
okay.
Thank you for that. Are you with us, brother?
Yeah.
Okay. So I am recording this, and I will send you the link, and you can catch up on, we've gone through the syllabus. You can catch up on that. And so, but it is so good to have you in our class. So I was explaining my background as a pastor and then as a chaplain in our military reserve, and I was activated during the Iraq War. I was sent to Baghdad, the capital city. I was working in the presidential palace in Iraq, and Saddam Hussein's throne room, where he would bring people in to pronounce judgment and execution, that throne room, do you know what it became? It became the chapel. It's where I preached the gospel in Saddam's throne room. So this room of death became a room of life, and that is just the way that our God works. So, any questions about the syllabus, about the class, about anything that I have said before we take a break? Okay, if
Yeah.
there, yes? Okay, if there
Yeah,
are,
I
oh,
have a question. My name is Boru.
yes,
Join
Boru.
you. Yeah, when I am late, I'm sorry.
No worries.
Yeah, I had some challenges. Actually, one of my colleagues also went through the same challenges.
Yes?
We are not in we don't have the group for theology and ministry. And then I cannot even access the same unit on my Teams because I wanted to join through Teams. Yeah, so we were somehow stranded. Actually, I was following up with the same issue almost 2 hours ago with the administration. So it was hard for me now to join. So actually, that is why I let to join the group.
Yes, so I didn't know until less than an hour ago that we would even be having this class. I kept asking and asking, and are we going to have this class? I was saying, well, just stand by, and we'll see. And I said, listen, the class is supposed to start in a half hour. I haven't I haven't heard yet. How do I proceed? And so. No worries, we're all in this together, and I will set up a so I did send you an invitation, and what I will do on Teams is I will put on the calendar for this time so that you can simply go to the calendar on Teams every week and click that link. And if I don't see you, since this is a small class, I will send an invitation just as a reminder, as I did. I don't know, did you receive my invitation, Boru?
No, not
Okay,
really.
I sent many invitations, so I'm not sure what the problem was, but we'll get that figured out, and you can catch up by looking at this video, and we will set up a communication on WhatsApp, and that's going to be the way that we communicate and submit assignments. So we are going to take a 10-minute break right now, and I will try to set those things up in the meantime. So let's take a 10-minute break, and I will see you back then.